FBI raids expose massive government cover-up. Have you ever wondered how much the government really hides from us? Have you ever asked yourself, if one shocking raid could pull the curtain back, what kind of secrets would come spilling out? Imagine waking up to news that FBI agents stormed a facility in the dead of night, seizing boxes of files, servers full of data, and even silencing the very people who worked inside. No headlines explained it. No officials clarified it. Yet whispers spread that the truth could shake the very foundations of power. That's what today's story is about. And trust me, you'll want to hear every detail, because by the end, you'll be asking yourself not just what they're hiding, but whether you'll dare to share this video with everyone you know. The story begins quietly, as most cover-ups do. This was not a raid on some criminal hideout, or a routine bust of a fraud scheme. This was a high-level operation, planned down to the second, targeting a location most people didn't even know existed. The building looked unremarkable from the outside, just another great government facility hidden behind fences and cameras. But inside, according to those who have seen fragments of the evidence, were files, servers, and safes filled with information that was never meant to see daylight. And when the FBI moved in, they did it with such precision that even nearby residents were left stunned by the blackout, the sudden silence of cell networks, and the quiet but rapid exit of black vans under cover of darkness. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Officially, the raid was described as routine. That's the word they always use. But insiders paint a very different picture. They describe panic phone calls from top officials just minutes after the raid began. They describe late-night emergency meetings and frantic attempts to contain the fallout. If the raid was routine, why was the reaction pure chaos? Why did some of the most powerful figures in the country suddenly look like they were standing on quicksand? And here's what you need to think about. For months, there had been whispers of hidden programs, of unapproved surveillance projects, and of money vanishing into black budgets with no accountability. Some whistleblowers tried to sound the alarm, but their voices were ignored or silenced. But the timing of this raid suggests that enough evidence had piled up, enough insiders had pushed back, and enough secrets had become impossible to hide. The FBI was not just seizing evidence. They were stepping into the middle of a war inside the system itself. If you're new here, let me pause for a second. I bring you the stories that mainstream outlets either can't cover or won't cover. If you want to stay informed, if you want to see the full picture, hit that subscribe button right now. And if you're already subscribed, thank you. You're the reason I can keep exposing these truths. Now let's dive deeper. So what exactly was seized? According to whispers from those connected to the operation, the FBI walked away with boxes upon boxes of documents. Some contained internal communications, emails, memos, directives that linked government officials to private corporations in ways that were never supposed to be public. Think about it. Contracts made in secret, data handed over without oversight, deals signed behind closed doors, bypassing every layer of accountability. This isn't just corruption, it's collusion. And when corporations and governments merge in secrecy, the line between public interest and private gain disappears entirely. But that wasn't all. Servers were taken. Hard drives filled with raw data were packed into vans. And buried within that data, insiders say, are the blueprints of surveillance programs that make even the most paranoid fears seem small. We're talking about systems designed to track not just suspects, not just criminals, but entire populations. Your phone calls, your emails, your movements, all collected, all stored, all analyzed. Officially, these programs never existed. Unofficially, they may have been running for years. Now, let's step back for a moment. History has shown us time and again that governments rarely admit to overreach until they're caught. Think about the Pentagon Papers. Think about Watergate. Think about the mass surveillance leaks from just a decade ago. Every time, the story was the same. We didn't know. We weren't aware. It's not as bad as it sounds. And every time, once the truth came out, it was worse than anyone imagined. So ask yourself, is this raid the beginning of another revelation, another crack in the armor of secrecy? Or is it just another story they'll bury until the public forgets? Here's the part that chills me the most. Some of the individuals connected to the facility have vanished. No public statements. No charges. No traídas. They are simply gone. People who worked inside that building, people who knew what was stored in those safes, are now silent. Think about that. If the truth was harmless, why silence the people who could explain it? If nothing dangerous was found, why erase the voices of those who saw it firsthand? I need to ask you something. Do you believe secrecy protects us, or do you believe it enslaves us? Do you believe there are truths too dangerous for the public, or do you believe the public has the right to know everything? Leave your answer in the comments, because I guarantee you others will argue the opposite. And that debate, that clash of ideas, is exactly what keeps the truth alive. Let's look at the bigger picture. The raid was not just about one building. It was about control. Control of information. Control of narratives. Control of the future. The files reportedly contained evidence of programs stretching across borders, involving foreign partners, and even shaping global events without the public ever knowing. Imagine learning that policies you thought were debated and voted on were, in reality, scripted long before by unseen hands. Imagine realizing that elections, wars, even economic shifts might have been influenced by the very programs hidden in those seized servers. If that sounds extreme, remember, history is filled with examples where conspiracy became reality the moment documents were declassified. And that's why this matters. This raid is not just an investigation. It's a fracture in the system, a glimpse at the machinery behind the curtain. And once that curtain is pulled back, even a little, the question is whether we, the people, will demand to see more, or whether we'll let them stitch it closed again, leaving us with nothing but sanitized headlines and hollow reassurances. Let me pause again. If you're still watching, that tells me you care about the truth. So I'm asking you directly, subscribe right now, and share this video with someone you trust. Because the more people know, the harder it is for silence to win. And trust me, silence is their greatest weapon. Now, let's dig into what insiders believe will happen next. Officially, the files are in federal custody. That means committees will review them, classifications will be slapped on them, and reports will be redacted until they're unreadable. That's the standard playbook. But behind the scenes, the real question is who gains leverage from what was found. If one faction inside the government holds those files, they hold power over everyone else. They can threaten exposure. They can control narratives. They can rewrite history. And that's why some insiders believe this raid wasn't about justice at all. It was about shifting the balance of power from one group to another. That thought should terrify you, because it means the truth won't be revealed. It will be weaponized. Used not to inform you, but to control you. And the longer the public waits silently, the easier it is for those files to become bargaining chips instead of revelations. So let me end with this. The FBI raid has already happened. The files have already been taken. The silence has already begun. The only question left is whether the public will demand answers, or whether this story will fade like so many before. And that decision depends not on them, but on you. So I'll ask you again. If you discover that your government had been hiding massive cover-ups, programs, and deals that directly affect your life, would you stay quiet? Or would you tell everyone you know until the truth could no longer be ignored? Because that's the choice we're all facing now.